So we saw a movie. We saw Teen Titans Go to the movies at the movies, different movies, though different movie theater, same movie.
The
We both
movie.
saw it.
Yes.
What did you think of it, Ewan?
I mean, should we first introduce why? Because I'm sure there are lots of people who are just their gut reaction to that was, why did you see Teen Titans Go to the movies?
Okay. Yes, why? But first, there are not lots of people listening to the podcast.
Fair enough.
But I understand you're sitting it. Yes. So my reason why did I go to this movie is because I like cartoons, and I go see a lot of movies now. As a kid, I just never went and saw movies ever, and just waited until they came to like rental at the video spot. I forget what the local video rental store was called, but basically I would just wait until it would come out and I'd rent the movie. But now I go see movies all the time. So I went and saw Christopher Robin yesterday, which is not the movie that we were talking about, although I'd like to, but Ewan hasn't seen it, so he can't.
Yeah. And I'm probably not going to see it.
Just like 2-second review of Christopher Robin. It's worth seeing. That what that means might mean different things to different people, but I'd say it's worth seeing. But no, I like cartoons. I watched the original Teen Titans cartoon a lot when I was a kid. And so when Teen Titans Go came out and everyone on the internet was all like, it's not the original Titans, it's trash. Now, at first I was mad at it, and I'll tell you why. It's because I was a fan of Young Justice, which was a Justice League Unlimited style animated series, but followed basically the Teen Titans, but it's the Young Justice group, which means there's more of them basically.
And there's one subtle Young Justice joke in this movie, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Oh no, that's what I was about to explain. Is that like the Teen Titans Go was announced, and they canceled Young Justice because Teen Titans Go was coming out. It was gonna take Young Justice's his spot, and I was like, "Oh, that sucks." If it was the original Teen Titans, I'd be okay with it. But I don't know this cartoon, and I liked Young Justice, so I'm upset. But then once I grew up into an adult, I was like, "Oh, well, they're just still cartoons, and I can still like cartoons." So I started liking Teen Titans Go, at least a little bit. I think it's hard to binge. It's hard to watch tons of in a row. But I still do like Teen Titans Go. So that's why I saw it. Why did you see it, Mr. I hate superheroes and everything that they are?
Because the poster said the movie to end all superhero movies, hopefully. I love that poster. My history with Teen Titans was, I remember it being on TV, but me being a bit too young to be actually into it. I guess not too young, because I was still watching like Batman stuff, but I was just like, at that age, I was like, nah, I don't really care enough to keep watching this.
The word teen is in the name. That means old kids gotta watch it.
Yeah, I remember thinking I wasn't allowed to watch 16 until I was 16, because 16 was a Canadian cartoon about 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
But so Teen Titans Go came out when I was like 12, 11 maybe. No, I was 12. But I watched it because I vaguely knew of Teen Titans, and I kept watching it for like, I think the majority of the first season. I was still watching it before I stopped, and I thought it was funny then. And then when the trailer came out for this movie, I thought that was really funny. It had like the "Are you Deadpool?" jokes, and just lots of little things where I was like, yeah okay, I'm down with this movie's shenanigans. And I went to see if it was actually that fun, and I think it was.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really fun. Yeah, so like it's funny you say you were 12 whenever Teen Titans Go came out. I was 11 when the first Teen Titans came out. So we were pretty much similar ages.
Yeah.
But which with each different Teen Titans show. So yeah, that's kind of my thing, is that I had a lot of fun in the movie. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a good story.
Yeah,
I was
there are things about it that are stronger than the show, I think. Like the fact that they do some genuine superheroing in a few scenes, which they
yeah.
don't really do at any point in the show, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go ahead and establish that the first a few minutes of we'll just talk about the non-spoiler stuff, all this non-spoiler stuff we can at the beginning, and then we're gonna switch to spoilers and talk about the actual stuff.
And the assumption is that, like, I'm sure some people will be listening and they don't give a they're never gonna see this movie, and like, the only chance that we could sell them on it is if we tell them one of the funny jokes. But for the people who might see it, we're not gonna we're not gonna ruin any of the jokes until the spoiler section. So it's not spoilers as in, oh no, does Cyborg die? It's like spoilers as in, we're gonna spoil jokes and they're not gonna be funny anymore.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about jokes because nothing in, I mean, you could argue nothing in any movie really matters, but the progression of the story means nothing in the grand scheme of this cartoon movie.
Yeah.
So like that's not the kind of spoiler that we're really avoiding. So, non-spoiler stuff, I will say that if you are a fan of cartoons in general, and you know, this could be like, I'm specifically talking about cartoons that are currently on air, like if you watch Steven Universe, if you watch, let's take like Gravity Falls or Adventure Time, or you know, like any of the like regular show, you know, all the stuff that's like more current style of cartoon. It feels very much like it would be at home on the Cartoon Network channel or Disney XD or something. Although I guess nothing's going to be at home on Disney XD for much longer.
Well, and also it's like constantly switching up the animation style to keep it interesting. So there's like the whole Disney section where they're doing a Lion King joke. That was like just little things like that to spice it up a bit.
Yeah, you did kind of touch a little bit of spoilery there, but
I
we
mean,
kind of, I guess,
it's not like
yeah.
I mean, that I don't think that really
matters. They did the different style for several sections of the movie. Some of them were callbacks to older shows, and some of them were just like neater styles.
It's usually like
cool.
the music sessions, because this movie has a lot of songs in it, and I really liked some of the songs.
Yeah, me too.
the My Superhero movie, that's my favorite part of the movie. The song that Robin sings about wanting to have a superhero movie, and it goes like kind of Broadway-y, and I really liked it.
Yeah, so synopsis about the movie without spoilers is that Robin wants a superhero movie, and also Slade's in the movie. So the Go Teen Titans finally get their nemesis out of Slade. And I say synopsis, but I think that is also mostly all of the plot in the movie. The rest of it is aligned to jokes and a couple plot twists, and that's about it, really. I mean, it's a cartoon movie, about a show cartoon.
There's a section where they're doing a thing that you think is going to be part of the plot, and it's really funny, but it also is completely throwaway by the end of the segment.
Yeah, and that's really good too. So yeah, it's pretty much like non-spoiler stuff if you like modern cartoons and you at least appreciate superheroes at somewhat. Like if you hate superheroes and like have never been interested in any superhero cartoon or movie about superheroes or comic books, then you'd probably wouldn't get a lot of enjoyment out of it, because even though it's funny, a lot of it is based off of jokes around comic books, and you don't have to necessarily know. I mean, I think that I remember there was only one DC joke about the live action movies where you'd have to have seen Batman versus Superman to get the joke.
I mean, I don't think you have to have seen it, because
funny.
The joke is so like, oh, well, shit, I screwed it. The blank joke, I'll censor that out in post. The blank joke is like something that, like, I didn't see Batman v Superman because of course I didn't, but I still got that joke. And there's
but I mean
there are other allusions that you don't need to see the movies to get it, but it
that's
is
a
like
joke that's been lampooned on the internet already, though. Like people know about that silly thing from Batman versus Superman because it was in like jokes that people were telling about it and everything.
Yeah, I feel like this was kind of like a kid's Deadpool, because there's a lot about it that's like it's really self-aware in a way that I missed.
In the way that Deadpool was on the edge for superhero movies for adults, I would say this was on the edge of cartoon movies for kids, in a very like, not just innuendo-y way, but just like it did things that kids knew were like instead of the jokes going over the kids' heads and making the parents laugh, like they were on the edge to the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Specifically with like the very last joke of the movie, which we'll talk about as we segue into the spoiler section, because I think I've done all the talking I can about this movie without spoiling shit.
Okay. So yeah, should we say what that last joke was? Because that just utterly destroyed me in the theater.
Yeah, me too. That was by far my hardest laugh of the movie.
I was laughing like looking at the families around me. I was like, are they gonna?
Yeah, because like set the scene up. They just very end. Robin defeats Slade and everything,
and he's doing like his dramatic monologue. He's like, and
at first it's just the pretty bow line. It's not really a monologue. It's just he jumps up and he's like, the only thing you have to be a hero is to be yourself.
Yeah,
and like
everyone applauds, and it's like, oh yeah, sunset, and the credits start rolling over that too.
Yeah, and then Robin's like, no, wait, pull the credits down, and he's like, and everyone's like, no, this isn't that kind of movie. Like, just no credit, and like all cheering him to roll the credits. And Robin's like, no, I want to do my monologue. I want to do my.
He's like, I need to teach the kids a lesson.
Oh, I want something that the kids will be talking to their parents about on the way home. And then they finally get the camera to pull out, and it's going away, and then Robin grappling hook shots the camera and flies back in. He's like, no, kids, ask your parents where babies come from. And then just like the screen goes black. And that got me a lot, because I was sitting next to like a one mother at the theater with like it looked like her 3 kids and their 5 friends. Like it was, I know it was like 6 or 7 seats in the row of just kids, and I'm like, oh, this poor woman.
Yeah. All right. I took, like, you took notes last time. I took some notes this time because like I was remembering. Okay, I have to mention this thing and this thing and this thing. One thing I want to mention right off the bat, because it connects to something from another Popcorn Corner. You were disappointed in Looney Tunes Back in Action when the water tower was there and they didn't mention the Animaniacs.
Yeah, and then in this movie, Starfire says that's where the Animaniacs live, and I was the only one in the whole fucking theater that laughed, because the only people in there were moms and dads in their 50s, me, and then kids who were like had no idea what the fucking Animaniac was.
Yeah, I was
the only one that laughed.
I was in the same situation there. Yeah.
But I was like, oh my god, that's what I wanted. The Looney Tunes Warner Brother movie, which I guess this is a Warner Brothers movie, so I can't really be too mad. But it's like, why didn't they do that in the movie about cartoon characters that weren't superheroes? But they did it, and I know they the big thing I wanted to talk about was the fucking Stan Lee cameo.
Yes, that was great. I thought when you notice him in the background and he's sweeping the floor and staring at the camera and smiling, I was pretty sure that they weren't going to mention it and that was just going to be it. And then he runs up to the camera and starts talking, and it's actually Stan Lee.
And then he comes back later and he's like, I don't care that it's a DC movie, I just really like cameos.
Yeah, that was great.
So that was really good.
One joke that also really got me was when they start beating up what they think is Slade, but it's the actor playing Slade who says he's Shia LaBeouf, and that was not actually Shia LaBeouf. It was James Arnold Taylor. But just I like, for a split second I was like, did they actually get Shia LaBeouf to cameo in this?
No, I didn't figure they would, because like, I have kind of an appreciation for James Arnold Taylor, and that means I hear him every time that he's in something as him. And I even, when people are like, you remember whenever you got me watching Star versus the Forces of Evil, I was like, is Marco James Arnold Taylor for the first few episodes? Because he does do a voice, like the voice actor for Marco does do a voice that's quite similar to a James Arnold Taylor voice, but it is not James Arnold Taylor.
But like,
Yeah, of
I
course.
think I thought it could have been Shia LaBeouf because at that point there had been the Stan Lee cameo, and there had also been suddenly Michael Bolton singing a song, which caught me off
Yeah,
guard.
yeah. The Michael Bolton thing, like at first I was like, oh, is it, 'cause, the last thing that Michael Bolton did that I remember was his Lonely Island song, like 6 years ago or so. And at first I was like, oh, this sounds like an 80s song, and they were singing it at first, and then Michael Bolton comes in. I'm like, oh, someone's doing a Michael Bolton voice, and then it gets to a later part in the song where it's like very clearly Michael Bolton. I'm like, holy shit, this is actually fucking Michael Bolton singing the song. And then they run over the Michael Bolton tiger and just fucking leave.
And that was like, I thought at some point in that song I was like, it would be hilarious if they killed Michael Bolton, but there's no way they could do that in a kids movie, and then they did, and they left it, and they never allude to it again. There's some pretty dark jokes in this.
Yeah. So moving on to that, let's talk about the thing we referenced in the little bit of non-spoiler section, which is the time travel bit. So they decide to do some time traveling because Jade Wilson says to
who's totally not Slade Wilson, that like as
no, Jade Wilson, not Slade. Yeah, totally not. I mean, we're in the spoiler section, so anyone listening either is like doesn't give a shit about spoilers or has seen the movie, so we're not fooling them.
Or the other option is they're like, what?
Yeah, they just didn't put that together. They were very confused through the whole movie.
Yeah.
They do several Back to the Future let's go Back to the Future. The past.
And they play the actual Back to the Future theme, and
yeah.
And then they play Take on Me, and when they did those back to back, I was thinking, did Warner Brothers just have these licenses still knocking around from when they did Ready Player One? Because it felt kind of like why that was there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd forgotten that Warner Brothers did Ready Player One.
Which is why it has so much DC shit in it.
Yeah, that's true. No, so like when they did that, and it was like the rad stuff, and they were on the trikes, and it was doing all sorts of 80s like looking filters on them while they were doing tricycle tricks to Take on Me. Like that was really cool. And this is where I thought the movie was going. So I thought, and hear me out, you might have felt a similar thing. I thought they were going to go back in time because Jade Wilson told Robin that the only way that she'd make a movie is if they were the last superheroes. I thought they were going to go back in time and make all the superheroes not ever happen, and then come back and like Slade will have taken control of everything or whatever. So then they would have to like fight Slade, and then in order to go back in time and set everything right. That's what I thought the natural course of the movie. I could not have been more wrong. Because first they go to, I believe, Krypton.
Yeah.
And and they save Superman by doing some really sick like club music. Which I really like. I know that you're not as huge of a fan of loud club style music.
It was still funny though. It felt very much like the okay, there's no way you've seen Monsters vs. Aliens, right? It's a DreamWorks movie.
No. I've seen Cowboys and Aliens. Okay. I've not seen Monsters vs.
Monsters vs. Aliens has a scene where when they make first contact with aliens, the president walks up a huge flight of stairs to a keyboard, and he does the Close Encounters thing, and then just starts playing Axel F. And I thought for a second they were going to do Axel F here too, because it sounded like that at the beginning, but nope, they just that thing, and then they save Krypton.
Yeah, and then they go to, I believe the next one was, I don't think it was Batman, but it might have been.
They do Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
That's right. They fucking drown Aquaman to death by killing him with some litter.
That's not as dark though, as they go.
No, because they save Batman and it's nice and like, oh, they've saved Batman's parents and now they're not gonna die. And then after all this shit, they go back to the present and like, oh, everything's going to shit and like there are no superheroes and that means there's no superheroes movies being made and they don't want to live there because they only did all this to go to the superhero movies. So instead of what I thought where like they couldn't go back in time until they beat Slade, they just go back immediately and fix everything. So for Wonder Woman, it's cute because they give her back her jump rope when they play jump rope with her. And then they save Aquaman, and cute little baby Aquaman was cute. And then they go back to Krypton. They just fucking kick the damn crystals until everything explodes.
Yeah.
But then the dark part is Batman.
Yeah, because they go back to them about to go to Crime Alley, and they push the parents into Crime Alley, and you hear them getting shot.
Yeah, and no. You see the flashes of them getting shot too, and then after the two flashes, Robin just pokes his head out and gives a big old thumbs up. It's like, what the hell? This is like so dark for a kids movie.
I also have to note in that scene the young Bruce Wayne is being played by Kal-El Cage, Nic Cage's son.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So also in that scene, they put the pearls on her. Robin put the pearls on her before she walked in that alley, and I don't remember which Batman movie it was. It might have been one of the '90s ones.
Yeah, I think it's '89 did it, but it might have been in some of the other versions, but that's the version that I remember it from.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that one because like the weird thing about that movie was like she got shot and then all her pearls came undone and fell off, and it's like, what, did she get shot in the necklace? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, so like then they go back. One thing I don't know if you noticed that you might have, you're quick on the movies, but so they had some non-usual. Usually Nolan North is the common guy they get for Superman. That wasn't the case. This time Superman was
Nicolas
Cage.
Yeah.
So and then like who's the guy that's usually Batman?
Kevin Conroy.
Like Kevin Conroy. And I forget who they got for this one.
They got Jimmy Kimmel, which...
That's right. He didn't say very much in the movie. Most of it was just...
Which is good because we don't like Jimmy Kimmel. Or I don't like Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah. You don't like Jimmy Fallon. I don't like Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah. When it comes to late night dudes, I actually... Yeah, Jimmy Fallon's the one I like the least. And I don't really know why. It's just that, like, he was on Saturday Night Live, and I just never... Like, he was in, like, some very iconic, funny ones, and, you know, people have said, oh, he laughed and ruined it. And like, no, I don't think he ruined it by breaking character in SNL, because it's a live comedy show. Like, you can't just expect all the actors to never laugh and stuff. Unless you're a goddess, like, what's her name?
The person Spanky is thinking of is Kate McKinnon.
No, I can't think of it. I'm going to the second we're done recording, I'm going to like remember her name and just explode. Anyway,
is today a holiday? Just quick aside, is today a holiday? Because there's a crap ton of fireworks going on outside my window right now.
I don't know, because I live in Missouri where fucking everything is a gun, so I just always hear explosions and I think nothing of it. I have no idea. Also, since I don't live in Canada, I don't know like
Canadian
I feel
holidays?
I feel like every holiday that involves fireworks is specific to the country.
I don't know,
You know what
like,
I mean?
but I've got like a trailer park down the road, and so there's we can hear fireworks going off on July the 4th and stuff like that, which is like not usual unless there are Americans living nearby.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the 4th of July in Canada. Like,
Yeah,
that's not your Independence Day. Your guys' Independence Day is in like
it's July the 1st. It's
May?
a few days earlier.
Oh yeah, July 1st. That's why I was like, it's the 1st of something, but I didn't remember what it was.
So we started talking about Nic Cage, but I want to continue because I think he was a surprisingly...
No.
Okay, what do you want to say?
Yes, but I specifically wanted to say the joke that I wanted to reference about Nic Cage was whenever they had the kryptonite attack on Nic Cage and they kicked him off, Robin busted in the door. I think it was Robin, or maybe it was Batman, I forget who, but they said, no, it was Robin, because he said, don't hurt Superman, he's a national treasure. And that was a reference to the Nicolas Cage movies, National Treasure.
I didn't get that until now.
Yes, I'm glad that I got something that you didn't, because usually I am the one totally clueless one.
I did get the Superman Lives connection that Nic Cage was almost Superman in the 90s, but So I think he was actually like a pretty solid Superman in this movie. Like the moments where they're prank calling him about Lois and stuff like that, he just seemed really on character, I thought.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Let's see. Of course, there was the joke about the Green Lantern movie.
Yeah, which is
and
they're all talking about their movies, and Green Lantern says, and there was a Green Lantern movie, but we don't talk about that.
Don't talk about. And I thought that was a good one because like we were talking about how this movie seemed kind of like the Deadpool but kid friendly, and it's like that's a very Deadpool thing because Ryan Reynolds likes to really really heavily fucking hit on that movie whenever he's Deadpool. So much so that in the post-credit scene for Deadpool 2, which we probably will do a popcorn corner on at some point,
maybe
but
when
after
it comes
out
out
on
on
the DVD,
yeah,
so that I can rewatch it because I've forgotten to.
We like that movie.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot. That's my favorite movie of the year so far, which is
so
makes it weird that we didn't do a popcorn corner on it.
Yeah, well, it's because like I forget why. It's because I saw it so long before you that like whenever you saw it, I was like, oh, I've forgotten enough of it that I don't think I can make it interesting to talk about for that long. So then I'll go see it again, and then I just never did. So like I think it probably is pretty soon. I think in August or sometime. When it comes to DVD, I'll buy the DVD and we'll watch it again. And so that's probably gonna be either the next or the one after the next popcorn corner y'all hear. So there's a little preview. I keep giving previews to other popcorn corners. Like I previewed Looney Tunes Back in Action. I was like, oh, we did that anyway. So reeling it back into the movie,
I want to say like it's sort of similar to that Green Lantern joke was that they did, and I almost spoiled this earlier, but then edited it out later. They did a Martha joke, which was they're filming Batman vs Superman Part 2. And he's like, what's your mom's name? Martha. My mommy's named Martha. And then they hug. And he says, wait, what's your daddy's name? Jonathan. My dad's named Thomas. And they start fighting again.
Yeah. that like, got me pretty hard.
When they were just hugging after Martha, I thought, okay, yeah, I've heard that joke before. But when they did the dad's bit, I was like, okay, there you go. That's actually a good joke.
Yeah, that was really good. So yeah, that's the joke stuff that I really like. I really thought that Will Arnett was great as Slade, and I know you just started watching the original Teen Titans, but
like just a minute ago.
yeah, like he watched episode 1 before we started recording this.
Yeah,
because he had already seen it and I was in the theater, so he had like been having free time to do whatever a teenage boy does in his free time, like watch cartoons.
Which was go to Walmart and buy 2 seasons of Teen Titans.
Yeah, there it was. Did you guys hear that out there in podcast land? He said Titans because he's Canadian.
Stop this.
Hey, you get to lay into me whenever I do my redneck stuff. So I get that whenever you throw the DT in there. Yeah, and the Popeye. Whatever I said about Popeye.
And trouble.
Trouble. Start some
trouble.
They're starting some trouble. Yeah. We're just gonna see. So like, if you're allowed to do that, and you are, then I'm allowed to call out every time you throw the double D instead of the T into a word.
Teen Titans.
Canadians, because Canadians don't have that many like Southerners and especially Ozark people. We say shit that nobody knows. Like, what the fuck are they saying? But Canadians, they're just like, there's the fake Canadians that you see that like are on TV and they're wearing all flannel with a toque on and with a giant mustache and like, oh there, yeah, eating some maple syrup on my pancakes there. Like, which I'm sure that person does exist, but that's not.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I mean, like just like in the same way that you've got the cowboy rednecks that I promise you do exist. Like it's not what you really see. Anyway, we're talking about a movie.
Yeah.
So I think Slade. So like, one thing we'll probably do, and I haven't decided on what segment to do, is talk about BoJack Horseman. Because it makes sense for Cartoon Crunch, but since the only Cartoon Crunch we've done so far is for like an actual kids cartoon, it feels weird to throw BoJack in that. But I guess it is a cartoon, so that's probably what it's going to be on. Anyway, I thought that
we swear and stuff. It's probably not that weird.
Sure. I'm just saying, like, so, like, I thought that in the first season of BoJack, Will Arnett was kind of, like, not bad, but, you know, just, like, he's been an actor for so long. I don't think he really got the voice acting thing. But then by season 2 of BoJack, he was really, really good at just portraying BoJack as a voice. And I think that, you know, all this practice he's had doing BoJack now really played off into Slade, because for like all the stuff when he was like, you know, doing the mind manipulation, look over there stuff, like I was like, I could really see another voice actor making these scenes really unbearable.
Yeah.
Because just like the way that you could overplay them. But Will Arnett did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so Ron Perlman did Slade in the old ones, which you now know because you've now seen the first episode of the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
So going into it, I was like, well, you know, Ron Perlman, I'm sure, would have been down to be in this movie. Ron Perlman is down to be in basically anything, as far as I know.
Including
I've not really seen a movie.
Looney Tunes back in action.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I've not really seen Ron Perlman in a movie and been like surprised that he would take such a role. I've always like, oh, of course Ron Perlman's in this fucking movie, which was how I felt about Pacific Rim, because he was in. I had to bring it back to robots because I want to talk about Slade turns into a big ass fucking robot. That's the final boss. It's a giant robot, and I was like, yes, this is my shit right here.
I was pretty
really
sure
cool
they were
robot.
going to bring back... there was a whole Voltron parody episode of Teen Titans Go, and I thought they were going to bring that robot back to fight the Slade robot. But then, like, no, that would be kind of too... you need to have watched the show to get that. And also, it's not a show that you know everything about it. You just watch a few.
Oh, one thing we forgot to mention, which I'm surprised you forgot to mention, is when we were talking about the time travel stuff. There was a superhero bunch that they averted from becoming superheroes that are not DC comic superheroes.
Yeah.
They little turtles walking towards some radioactive gunk or whatever.
And they just turn them around and walk them back
and
towards
just like spun them around back into that.
Yeah, which was I texted Spanky before the movie to say that, like, there aren't a lot of in-jokes to the TV show, but one thing you should know is that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are kind of in Teen Titans Go. Like, they don't say who they are, but they're the Ninja Turtles. You can tell they're the Ninja Turtles looking at them, and they show up in one episode and just hang out, and and it's kind of a joke because Greg Sipes, who plays Beast Boy, also played Michelangelo in the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show. I have a few notes here that I think we should mention. Some things are like character notes, because like one thing that was kind of confusing me was the way that Beast Boy was talking the whole time, because he was doing this thing where he would, like, every sentence that came out of his mouth would have a very particular phrasing to it that was like, I likes to does that, and it was all like weirdly phrased, which I don't think he did at all in the original cartoon, and he did he did like once or twice in Go.
Well, no, so he did in the original cartoon kind of that, but you got to remember that type, like, no one, see, that's the way that, like, YouTube hip hop kind of crowd people talk now. I think is like the white kids that hang around with Logan Paul and like that kind of shit. Party rock anthem, like after that kind of shit happened. Because, like, I remember, like, I think it was 2010 or 2011 whenever LMFAO came out with Party Rock, and they had to, there was just a lot of language that came around from, like, that era of, I hesitate to say hip-hop, because that was almost insulting, I think.
Yeah,
but
it is.
But basically that era of music, and I think that's kind of where that stuff developed. So, like, Beast Boy did definitely have, like, a more, I don't really want to say hip hop, but, you know, like a more, I don't really know. I don't know the way to describe it, because I'm from the boonies in the middle of nowhere, and I'm not from the city where I would have actually encountered people who might talk like that
and turn into animals.
Yeah, and also turn into animals. Well, I mean, like, I just call people who talk like that where I live fuckboys, because that's usually the only people that talk like that. And
we can't confirm that Beast Boy isn't one of those.
No, I can't confirm. So anyway, what were you gonna say about the way he was talking? Is there like a show reason that you think he talks like that?
No, I think in the movie he seemed to be talking like that more than he did in either of the shows. He might have developed it more as the show went on after I stopped watching it, which I also feel like Raven was silly as all the other Titans in this, and there was a kind of dynamic at the beginning of Go where she was the one serious one, which I think just sort of dissolved as the show went on. But so it was kind of weird seeing her be as silly as everyone else was being when she was a little bit more serious than everyone else.
Well, I mean, it was weird because see, I've seen Go. But I don't watch it in order, and I don't really watch it more. I just will pick a random episode to go to watch if I ever watch it. And Raven has never been on Beast Boy's level of silly in my mind, because I watched all of the old show, and seeing her do the fart jokes with the balloon person, and then the poop joke, which the poop joke was definitely not something that I think was aimed at adults.
No,
I did get a little bit of a giggle out of when Raven stuck her head out, though. It's you guys keep it down, I'm pooping in here. And that's when that joke finally got to me. And of course I liked that every time that they said who were we, and they would put the cassette tape into Cyborg's chest and get ready to do the Teen Titans song, which I thought was a really cool song, and I'm super pumped that the way that they beat Slade's giant robot was by doing a music video to that song. Because by the time that came around, I started really of course I never ironically liked it, but it's I just really liked that song, especially the part that whenever Beast Boy was I'm a cat now. And check out my cat meow, and because at first it was cute because he was a kitty, and I like cats. But then he was he was the fucking cat from He-Man, I think, because he shot the lasers out of his mouth.
He also turns into Animal from Muppets at one point, doesn't he? That was kind of
he turns into, I think, Grover from Sesame Street.
I don't know.
I think who he turns into. I forget. I didn't get a good, but it was definitely a Muppet for sure. But I didn't get it was a very quick scene. So I didn't quite catch who he was, but I want to say Grover, but I could be very wrong about that. Because Grover's the almost Elmo looking but shaggier kind of thing, and then older. I don't know. He's got the long Squidward shaped nose, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know who the fuck Grover is, because I've really never watched Sesame Street. But I don't know. So yeah, the music video part was really cool at the end. I like that Beast Boy also turned into a mythical creature. Whenever they did the final beam against beam thing, he was a dragon who shot flames out of his mouth. For that part. I thought Starfire, and of course this might just be because I've not seen as much Go, but Starfire fucked up her English a lot in the original series, especially her diction. So her cadence and way that she'd speak was always messed up because she was an alien. But the movie Starfire did put a lot of thes in front of adjectives. And I don't ever remember her doing that a whole lot.
No, that's pretty much how Go simplified it so that they could make her. I guess it was just easier to write. I don't know. That was what it became in Go.
I see. So, but that is the way that she talks in Go, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty normal. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because she definitely does have some of that in the original one, and you'll see that as you go through it. But yeah, that's the one thing that I noticed. I was I don't remember her talking. I remember her talking wrong, but not talking specifically with a lot of just thes in front of adjectives and stuff.
One thing I want to talk about. There's one shot of the backlot where there was, I wasn't sure, but it looked like Superman with a mustache, which I thought might be a reference to the whole Justice League thing. I don't know if it was actually Superman or maybe it's some Warner Brothers guy.
No. That was oh wait, do you mean? No, never mind. I'm sorry. I am wrong.
It looked like it was on a
I was
billboard thing in just one of the establishing shots.
But like no. Superman with a mustache was a joke because Henry Cavill in Justice League had a mustache and they had to CG his mustache out. That was the joke there.
Yeah, well, the fact that joke didn't read if it was actually, or if I'm not just being stupid, but like if the fact that they had Superman up with a mustache, it would have been a good joke if they had somebody there with a roller painting off the mustache.
Oh,
that would have been funny. Like, so enough talking about jokes that are in the movie. Let's talk about jokes that aren't in the movie. Because like there was one other one like that. The bit when Balloon Man, who's played by Greg Davies, who's a British comedian, which was kind of weird, and I found that out when I got out of the theater. But anyway, he's like saying he thinks they're the Justice League, and through the whole conversation of you guys aren't the Justice League, I thought maybe you're just some obscure members. I was weirded out that they didn't mention that Cyborg is totally in the Justice League now and is even in the Justice League movie. They just completely blindsided that.
Yeah, I was expecting that too, but then I was thinking, well, this is really, they're more talking about, like, I guess animated movies, more or less, because, like, there's only been one movie with Cyborg in it at all, and there's been a lot of like other Superman and Batman movies and stuff. So I was thinking that like maybe they weren't going to mention that one just specifically, but like like when they said you guys aren't part of the Justice League, like that was the one time I was kind of expecting them to say, well, no, Cyborg is.
Yeah.
But it's complicated, you know. But then I was thinking, how could they really make that? Because we're in this universe where Cyborg exists as a permanent character, not a side character. So I was like, yeah, it makes sense if they couldn't make that joke exactly, because then they would have to try and explain that there's two cyborgs or at least an actor playing, you know. So it would get kind of complicated. Of course, it's not like the show made any fucking sense anyway. So,
do you have other things you want to say? Because I have two more things, and then I'm all out.
So I was gonna say that when you said with a mustache, I was thinking like older, and there was that my mind just jumped to the scene where they first went to the movie premiere and they were showing like next summer, it's Batman's whatever, and it was an Alfred movie, and then they did like next summer, and it was the Batmobile movie, and it was like next summer, and it was the utility belt. That whole scene was just perfect. And I when you said Superman with a mustache, I was thinking of, I saw in the crowd there Commissioner Gordon, I think, and I was like, why is he there? I thought only superheroes were in there, but I thought it was Commissioner Gordon because it was just some old dude, basically.
It was Commissioner Gordon, and I can tell you why he was there, and he was there because there's a running joke in Teen Titans Go where they will be talking about Batman, and usually it'd be like after Robin's talking about how dark Batman is, and it will go into the animated series from the 90s animation style to show how dark Batman is. And then it'll cut away to Batman and Commissioner Gordon, like, on a date or laughing or something. Batman and Commissioner Gordon are, like, canon gay in Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, and I saw them, like, do the fist. That was them, right? They did the fist bump.
Yeah.
Whenever they were, like, announced, like, oh, here's our very own Batman. That was Commissioner Gordon there, right?
Yeah, because they're just, like, best friends and also probably gay in Teen Titans Go lore.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough, yeah. Because, I mean, you know... So the animation style stuff, we alluded to that it changed a bunch, but I liked how much it changed. I liked for the what's the singer guy's name?
Michael Bolton, for the 80s inspirational song about life.
Yeah. For Mike, you just see how quickly I can forget shit. I was talking all about Michael Bolton earlier, and then I just forgot his name. That's how my brain works. Yeah, for the Michael Bolton scene, the animation style was like just very cute. Yeah. And it was like everything just got cuter and more rounded, no more sharp edges, and it was I thought that was really fun. Yeah. And the song itself was really fun. I just had a lot of good feelings about that one. And then when they did the of course, we already mentioned the Lion King one, which did we, or did you edit that one? I forget.
No, yeah. I will have left that in because who cares? Yeah, they do a whole dream sequence that is like a weirdly close pastiche of the Lion King opening scene. But it's Batman holding Robin, like all Disney animated style. Batman holding Robin out at a building over all the other superheroes.
Yeah,
and then of course they're like, he's just a sidekick, and he throws him off.
They also do the scene, and I forget where it falls in the movie, but it's animated Batman, or the animated series 90s style.
Oh yeah, that's for all the well, I think they do it at another point, but they do it for the trailers for Batman movies. So like
That's right, yeah.
The Alfred movie and the Batmobile movie, but
yeah,
they probably do it.
No, I was thinking of somewhere else. That reminded me though. I remember whenever Batman was chasing them and they were in the golf cart.
Oh yeah,
and it was the Batmobile, and then it was the Bat Cyclone. Oh, that's funny because that's what they did in The Dark Knight. And then they blew that up, and it was the Bat scooter.
Yeah.
And then they blew the scooter up, and there's Alfred.
No. First it was rollerblades, and then it was Alfred.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then it was like the Heelys rollerblades, and then it was Alfred. That was a really good scene that got me in the theater. I got a good laugh out of that.
Mm-hmm. And the My Superhero Movie song, I think that was kind of like old-timey Teen Titans animation style a little bit, but also just kind of it was shifting a lot.
It felt so like Teen Titans is kind of anime-ish in the way that Avatar: The Last Airbender and Boondocks are both kind of anime-ish inspired. Obviously Boondocks is more inspired by like the more
also
kind of
like more also like the 2003 Ninja Turtles show, and just how everything was kind of anime.
Yeah, and then like there was a Transformers show around that time, Armada, which I get, like that's the only one that I really watched, but people always say that was the best one ever. So I'm like, okay, well at least I watched the good one, and I didn't have to worry with the other bullshit. But I think Transformers Armada though was actually animated in Japan, so that doesn't actually count. I think it was a Japanese show and it was translated into English. But yeah, like so Teen Titans was anime-ish. It was really closely animated in the way that Avatar: The Last Airbender was, which it was like a lot of it was obviously Western style, but then like a lot of the characters and the designs were inspired by basically blending anime and like the Batman the Animated Series style art. And in the same way, I think that my Superhero Movie song art style was like blending anime and chibi style art. Instead of anime with the Batman the Animated Series stuff, because it kind of felt like that a little bit too at some parts. And I thought it was really good. All right, what's on your list to mention before we wrap this up?
The other things were the post-credit scene or the mid-credit scene is a teaser for finally they're bringing back, it seems like, the original Teen Titans show.
Yeah. Which also I didn't want to bring it up too much because we didn't talk about. Or I didn't want to spoil this specific thing, but when they play the Robin movie, the home movie that they made for him, Young Justice is on the VHS and it's scratched out. That's specifically a joke because they were the thing that canceled Young Justice because they were taking Young Justice's time slot. So like I was like, oh, that's hilarious. But now Young Justice, they've said, is coming back, and I think that's coming to DC's streaming service that they're starting next year or whatever. So
you mean Doomsday?
Oh yeah, I mean Doomsday.
Which, to clarify for everyone who hasn't seen the movie, there's like a crucial plot point where basically Jade Wilson is making DC Netflix, and then eventually that's what's going to be used to control the world. But it's called Doomsday, and it was like direct something movie streaming at you.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, no, I have no idea what it actually like.
I know the last bit was movie streaming directly at you is the end of it. I don't remember what the two O's are.
Online was probably one of them. So yeah, that's a thing. So now Young Justice is confirmed coming back. Obviously, they didn't do anything in the movie about it, but like they've just said that it's coming back. And then now Teen Titans also is coming back. So it's almost like people liked Young Justice because it kind of felt like Teen Titans, but not really. It was way more Justice League Unlimited-y than it was Teen Titans-y. But it Teen Titans had been off the air at the point Young Justice came out for like 4 years. So it's like we got something. I'm like, oh yeah. Sorry, that was my popcorn coming up to say, hey, I want to talk about the movie too.
That's particularly funny to me because in Canada at Cineplex we keep getting pre-show bits that are about anthropomorphized popcorn talking before the movie. So picture those coming up to try and talk about Teen Titans Go.
So anyway, yeah, since those are both coming back, it's kind of like, wow, the thing that we watched because we were sad that Teen Titans was canceled is coming back, and now also Teen Titans is coming back. So the people who were just big fans of like the younger sidekick superheroes next year are gonna have like a lot of cartoons to watch. And that makes me happy because I liked both of those series. So it's like I'm always happy to have more cartoons to watch. Just like the other day when I watched all 150 or whatever episodes of Steven Universe in like a week and a half because I'm a fucking maniac. Okay, what's
do you
the
think,
rest of the stuff?
I also want to say, do you think there was somebody, like, one of those internet kind of people who just still absolutely hates Teen Titans Go because it took Teen Titans away from them? And they were do you think I picture? Well, I know it didn't take it, but they're like, oh, we want Teen Titans back. This isn't Teen Titans. We want the real Teen Titans. I could picture that person sitting in the theater with their arms crossed the entire time, going, "This isn't funny. I hate this." And then at the very end, they get, "Hey, also the old Teen Titans is back. Just screw it. Just take this." And
so, my roommate that I used to have, his name is Pooh. Well, his name isn't Pooh, but he goes by Pooh in the same way that I go by Spanky.
You guys are just the best at choosing nicknames, Spanky and Pooh.
We didn't choose our nicknames. We got ascribed to them, and then that's what everyone calls us forever. And it's like when people just call you something instead of your name all the time, and it's like you just eventually, like, that becomes your name or whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we lived together, and it was Spanky and Pooh's house, and he fucking hates Teen Titans Go. Mm-hmm. He's also the roommate I will often reference who watches anything anime, and like when I lived with him, I would go into the living room where he'd be watching anime and be like, oh, this fucking shit, I'd leave. Because I'm not an anime fan, but he would watch all of it, and he'd watch it in Japanese with the subtitles, which for me I can't do because like my ADD and having to read this shit and pay, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so like he is a person who hates Teen Titans Go and was always mad that he couldn't have Young Justice or Teen Titans, and I texted him as I got out of the theater, and I was like, hey, I went and saw Teen Titans Go, and he didn't respond, and I was like, the after credits scene was the original Teen Titans saying they were coming back, and he just texted me 3 texts in rapid succession, OMG, meltdown, also how was it? So it's like, you could tell he didn't give a shit to ask me how this movie was, but then when he heard the original Teen Titans coming back, he's like, oh, all of my reasons to hate Go is gone, now I can actually ask how this movie was.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a person I can absolutely confirm is that person you were describing, and so he didn't go see it obviously, but he would have been the person to sit there with the arms crossed the whole time and not laughing and just like bitter about it. And then once that thing happens and he's like happy that it's coming back, he will then start having feelings about the movie he just watched all at once. All right, you got anything else on your list of stuff?
The one other thing we haven't touched on at all is that there was a superhero girls short at the beginning of the movie. Did that played at yours?
Yes, it did. Yeah. So,
what did you think of that? It was
good. It felt more like a trailer for, and I know this is already it's an ongoing, I believe it's like already around cartoon, right?
I don't know if it's a cartoon. I know it's like a toy line and like stickers and shit. I think it's just like a brand so that they can sell superhero stuff to girls, which like that concept kind of grosses me out because it sort of implies that girls aren't allowed to play with boy superhero stuff. So here you can have the superhero toys that are kind of rounder and all of them are smiling and they've got pink boxes, and I'm just that makes me sick. But also I kind of really liked this short, which like
I thought it was a good short, and of course Tara Strong was Batgirl.
Oh yeah, was she?
I think so. I forget her name, but like there's this one girl voice who voices Timmy Turner? Is it Tara Strong?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, then
so.
It definitely was. Yeah, Batgirl definitely was Tara Strong, because like there's a few like Kath Soucie and Tara Strong, and like just a few female voice actors that are in like fucking lots of stuff, and I will always get them mixed up. But I'm pretty sure that the Batgirl in this was Tara Strong, and it was they were all going to fight Mr. Freeze, and you could tell that like it wasn't the design based off the Arnold Schwarzenegger Freeze, but it was definitely like the shitty puns version of Mr. Freeze.
Because she takes out a toy. She takes out a toy and pulls a string, and it says "Ice to meet you."
Yeah. So it's like I thought it was really funny that they made that little bitty joke that kind of alluded to the fact that they made a really fucking bad Batman movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze one time in the late 90s.
But yeah, Batgirl in this was like a real klutz, and she's clumsy, and she's just like falling over everything, and it was kind of slapsticky. It felt kind of Teen Titans Go-y, so I guess it makes sense that it played before it, but like slightly less meta, and it was like a slightly different animation style, but still kind of cutesy and chibi. But yeah, I can totally see this being a show.
Honestly, it reminded me a little bit of that 16 show that you've sent me before, like the Canadian one, and not because I've ever seen it, because I haven't, but like you've shown me the intro, and like just the kind of like shapes of people's faces and shit kind of reminded me of 16 in a way, I guess, and like the animation style being kind of like the like Flash animation-y, or I guess it's called like Adobe Animate now, but the Flash style, kind of like
it's totally Flash.
What's it called? The My Little Pony was animated the same way. And then I think the first season of Star vs. the Forces of Evil was mostly animated that way. Yeah, like it kind of had that style, and like so. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a nice enough short. It wasn't like when I went and saw Coco, they had this fucking like 30-minute long Olaf's adventure movie, and like no, I mean like I'm pretty sure it was 30 minutes long, because it was supposed to be like a TV Disney Channel original like short film, but it lost its time slot, and they just threw this 30-minute long fucking Olaf movie on the front of Coco, and I remember my mom went and saw Coco with me, and she's like, "Did we go to the wrong theater? Are we in Frozen or something?" I'm like, "No, Mom, this is just some fucking short."
Yeah.
So yeah, 5 minutes for a short is fine. It felt like a Pixar short, where it's like just enough of it to make me like be like, "Oh, that was neat," and then it's over. So yeah, it didn't like assault me with Olaf. So as long as like now that I've had that happen, if a short before a movie doesn't assault me with fucking Frozen jokes and for half an hour, I'm okay with the short. Is how I just feel about that anymore.
Did that mean that there was no real Pixar short in front of Coco? Because that kind of sucks. Like,
I think so. I mean, it's hard to remember, because by the time Coco came on, I was like, fucking drop any of this garbage out of my brain. Because like I've said, and I think I still have the opinion of like Coco is my favorite Pixar movie. It's colorful and like in a way that like I can appreciate, and not a lot of things are. But like, yeah, I thought it was just like visually very beautiful. I thought the story was nice, and the music and stuff was there.
Have we ever said that you're colorblind? Because that line might not mean anything to somebody listening if we haven't said that you're colorblind.
Everyone, if you don't know, I'm colorblind. I'm red-green colorblind. And please don't ask me, "Hey, what color is this?" ever, because my answer is probably going to be whatever the color it is, because I've been colorblind for 25 years of my life, and I can usually guess at colors, even though what it means is I can't see the same colors as you. So like I'll probably I'll get it right, unless it occupies like a weird yellowish orange or like magenta or teal, or like those like in-betweeny colors. That's where I'll fuck up. Anyway, so yeah, that's how I felt about Coco. Weirdly that we're talking about that now, but then bring it all the way back to the short in front of the Teen Titans movie, where like I can appreciate any short that is like moderately fun to watch and is not 30 minutes long of fucking Olaf with 3 songs.
Yeah, So that was our thoughts on Teen Titans Go to the Movies. It was pretty good.
When there's trouble, you know who to call. Teen Titans!
The Avenger. Oh.
Oh, no, they had a Guardians of the Galaxy joke.
Yeah, they did. And well, also in the my superhero movie song, it was really fast in the movie, but in the trailers, I think it was a bit shorter. But they did like a bunch of title cards that were like the Spider-Man font and the Guardians of the Galaxy font and like different things for saying Robin in like classic superhero movie fonts.
Yeah, and they had the first the comics. They had the first covers that they were all in. As
well,
they, like,
also when they
disappeared.
opened the movie with flipping pages like the Marvel logo, and that
Yeah.
It's just somebody
that was
reading
like
a Teen Titans comic.
Yeah, so
we like this movie,
basically-
guys. This movie is funny. If you can't laugh at this, then lighten up and go watch Teen Titans Go.
No kidding.
I mean, you've already spent half the runtime listening to two dickheads talk about it, so just pay the money.
Yeah, no kidding. It's not super long. So like, yeah, if you think you would enjoy it, just go see it, guys. Like, we talked about it a lot, and like, we did this for your pleasure if you didn't want to watch it, but man, like, go and see this freaking movie, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I did want to say that earlier I couldn't remember the name of the SNL girl. It's Kate McKinnon that I was thinking of.
Okay.
And I knew that I would remember it because, like, I think I forgot Michael Bolton's name midway through the session because Kate McKinnon's name came back to me, and like I could only hold a certain number of names in my brain at a time.
That's
so
funny.
Kate McKinnon just kicked out Michael Bolton.
Okay.
All right.
That's it. That's all we got.
Fuck Batman.